All right, welcome back. And so yeah, today we're going to be checking out a video that Morphologis, another Star Citizen YouTuber, put out. It's called Star Citizen Not Enough Progress. So I'm not exactly sure what they're talking about specifically, but I do know that we are kind of in a content drought on our way to 3.14. So, you know, we're looking forward to a lot of things to come with that. But yeah, let's go ahead and have a look at what Morphologis is talking about here, and see if maybe we can add to the discussion.
As somebody who makes content on Star Citizen and who streams the game pretty frequently, I follow Star Citizen's development pretty closely. I like checking the roadmap, I like checking the progress tracker, and seeing how things are going. But this past year has seemed like there just hasn't been a lot of tangible progress. And by tangible, I mean things that you interact with on a daily basis if you're playing Star Citizen. So stuff like the HUD, places to visit, missions to do, gameplay loops. These are the things that new players will experience if they're coming into the game, or players who are coming back after a really long time. These are the things that they're definitely not going to miss.
This is fair.
The things that are less tangible are things like upgrades to the netcoding, upgrades to the way that planets look, upgrades to maybe the MFD screens in some minor way. Since last year's Invictus, it's felt like most of the stuff that we've gotten have been new ships and these small intangibles that improve the game in minor ways, but not in a major way that a casual viewer or player is going to notice in any substantive way. Now,
this is very true. I mean, just to stop you here real quick, but yeah, if you were to play Star Citizen 2 years ago and you were to go, okay, I know how to play this game. I'm gonna open up the mission scheduler and see what missions to do, and then you did it again 2 years later. There wouldn't really be that much different. All the missions are pretty much all still there. There are some new ones that we got, some new cargo missions from, let's say the Xenothreat event that's now in with the different kinds of box missions, but they're still box missions. The Private Eye mission from 2.0 is still in the game, pretty much unchanged. This is true when it comes to certain things with the game for sure. If you are looking at those specific things, what the game kind of offers to you at face value, yeah, nothing really much has changed tangibly if you look at those specific things. But he goes on.
I want to be real with you here, guys. I'm a content creator. When I make a video, I want to make a video that you want to watch, and so I tend to cover things that are interesting about Star Citizen. I'm not going to cover things like annoying bugs or small gameplay features that aren't finished yet and are really annoying, because it just doesn't make for good content for me. It's not really that entertaining to hear somebody complain. But those things do exist, and I'm not trying to ignore them. I'm just trying to focus on the things that make me excited, and hopefully also excite you guys. But as of late, I've been less and less able to really overlook these problems, as they tend to get in the way of actually making good content. Not to mention, like I said, there has been less tangible stuff to actually cover. And so going into this year's Invictus Free Fly event, which is typically a time where the community gets really riled up and excited to play the game, I felt like there wasn't going to be that much interaction. And lo and behold, going into the week, my community was dead after the first day. Nobody really was interested in hopping back in as a community because it was just more or less the same.
So I feel like this is kind of like a content creator's plight right now as well, what people like Morphologis and myself have to worry about when it comes to Star Citizen is a little bit different from what anybody just playing the game while watching a stream or watching TV or Netflix or whatever has to deal with. Because when you are streaming the game, and it's a very specific issue, because Star Citizen again doesn't have many of these tangible updates to the gameplay. You kind of end up having to make your own fun a lot of the time and having to improvise different things to do, just because the game, as it's been evolving, has been adding new things, like new planets, new features, new things that go kind of unnoticed if you play for a long time, but definitely are there things and again, I suppose recently as well, not necessarily that good, because with desync and stuff like that, they've been very hard to appreciate. Things like the new kill distances, things like bullets and stuff being able to travel thousands of meters and that kind of thing. But yeah, it's been a bit of a slog as a content creator, specifically trying to create new and engaging things for players to kind of do in Star Citizen. I get that a lot.
But I was thinking maybe this is just me. Maybe I'm not a very interesting content creator. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. And so I wanted to look into the data to see what's going on with Star Citizen this year.
So he's talking specifically here about the engagement of him and his following with him playing the game. And again, this will differ from player to player, from streamer to streamer, depending on their communities and that kind of thing. But yeah, this really does come down to you being able to improvise when most other games do not require this level of creativity from the people playing them in order to like keep people engaged. And you know, like I suppose I also kind of I'm guilty of not necessarily being able to innovate as much because of how limited things have kind of ended up being. You know, like last year or the year before, Rexzilla, when he was you know, on top of the game here with the Star Citizen community, they were really big because they were able to kind of like use what we had within the game and create this very unique environment that people would go into with PvP on large scale. But even that's not really something you can do right now very well anymore, just because of the state of the servers within the 3.13.1 environment right now. Hopefully going forwards things will change in that regard, but until then it is a bit tough.
Is there really a wider discontent with Star Citizen's progress this year? Or am I just losing my mind? Naturally then, the first thing I wanted to check was to see how much backer money they got this year for the Invictus event.
Gotta love
because
that
that
bug.
would tell me the enthusiasm level, right? Because if there's more backer money, then there's probably more enthusiasm. Well, this year they made a bit less. Last year they made just over 13 million, this year just over 12 million, so around $1 million less backer money, which is more or less the same. It seems like this year was pretty successful, right?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like steady and constant growth. They didn't release the Perseus, which I think was a really big factor in the creation. Well, I think the Perseus was actually not Invictus, so like I don't think that would have added. But I think something was announced during Invictus last year. Regardless, yeah, funding hasn't increased, but it hasn't decreased significantly. That being said, it's still, you know, like what they would call plateaued. So it's neither good nor bad, I guess.
But then that really doesn't connect with what we talked about earlier in the video, right? It seems like people are less interested. You're feeling more burnt out this year. It feels like there's less progress, less tangible
You don't know me, Morph.
progress, right? So then why are the numbers more or less the same? I decided to dive a little bit deeper to find out how much of that money was actually from new backers versus old backers.
Okay.
Going back to look at the numbers to compare them from last year's Invictus to this year's Invictus, last year we had 85,000 backers back the project. This year, 50,789.
I feel like again, it's kind of tough when you only have two numbers to go by, but last year we did have like a coronavirus like becoming a thing back then, and that would have really spurred on a lot of these numbers because people had nothing to do. But now, a year later, things are kind of becoming a little bit more normal, and as a result, people are having, you know, less time to play Star Citizen or to think about it, you know?
That is a difference of 35,133 less backers this year. Now that lines up with what my community and I have been feeling. But me just saying that the community in general feels like there's been less progress and so they didn't back is still a bit of conjecture. And so I also conducted a poll on my YouTube channel where over 2,500 eligible viewers answered the poll.
You know, I would like to know the number of people who actually like play during free flies and then they use free flies as a litmus test to know whether or not they want to get into the game, and how many free flies they play before they go, okay, now it's enough progress. Because I don't think free flies in general, you know, if I was to have never played Star Citizen before and I picked up a free fly, in general, the performance isn't really that great. I mean, maybe I'd pick it up again and see what's up and what's new and what's different, but I wonder how many people are repeat free flyers, you know?
I asked you guys if the free fly for Invictus finally convinced you guys to take the plunge, giving you guys 3 options to choose from. Either you bought the game after trying, you didn't buy the game after trying, or you didn't bother trying because you didn't feel there was enough progress based off the videos that you'd probably seen on my channel or by watching me on Twitch. Well, it turns out
I suppose that's how they'd know if progress has been made, because of videos and stuff, and not necessarily because they've been repeatedly free flying. But I'd still like to know the number.
20% of you guys actually bought the game after trying the free fly, whereas 24% didn't buy after trying. So it's about 50-50 for those who tried.
It's still pretty big. 20% of people buying the game after trying the free fly is a bigger number than I would have thought.
But a whopping 56% of you guys didn't even try because you felt like the progress wasn't enough yet. That means that 80% of you guys weren't convinced by Star Citizen's progress.
So that number really does confuse me, though. I mean, like, this subset that didn't try the game because they didn't think there was enough progress. How can you do one without like, how can you know unless you've tried it? Not to, like, bad for Star Citizen, but that really is a confusing one to me, because, like, I'm not gonna try it because they haven't made enough progress. Like, how do you know what mango juice tastes like without drinking it first?
Percent of you guys didn't even try because you felt like the progress wasn't enough yet. That means that 80% of you guys weren't convinced by Star Citizen's progress this year, and so didn't back the project
by watching streams, so you wouldn't even try it at all? It's confusing to me.
But what is the point of this video? Am I just trying to be harsh on CIG to bring them down to create another hit piece? No. I'm just trying to give myself and everybody here a little bit of dose of reality, and I think that being honest and straightforward about what's going on can only be helpful. I think that growth only happens through true reflection upon what's happening with the game, and at the moment, I feel that there's not enough tangible progress for new players to actually want to back the game. If you look at from 3.9 to 3.13, the only really big thing that new players will have experienced is maybe gas clouds, because everything else is technical and polish. What new players and free flyers experience is very different from what old backers experience. They've only got 1 or 2 ships in their hangar. When they wake up, they see the same station as they saw a year ago. They see the same planets. They see the same armor, the same issues with people standing on chairs.
That's fair.
And you old salty veterans who've been backing the game for a long time, I want you to be honest. How many of you guys actually noticed that for the duration of the bunker mission that you've been seeing in this video, I've actually been showing you guys footage from 2 years ago? Some of you may have already even typed down in the comment section below that, wow, the NPCs are working in this patch. No,
I was thinking
no, they're not. I can't even get med pens to work in this latest patch. That's how bad the desyncing or whatever's going on has gotten in the current version of Star Citizen.
Wow, that's a bait and switch and a half, but I feel that. I totally get what he's saying. And, there has been progress. There's been tons of progress, but again, a lot of it is, like back-end stuff, or it's, like systemic building up to like something actually being different. I feel like 3.14 is gonna be not the difference or that thing that'll change the game to, like make this video that Morphologis has made a moot point, but I think it will be a step in the right direction, like, because a lot of things visually will change, and that's necessarily what people want. I think that another thing that's kind of letting Star Citizen down right now is mission variety. Again, we've had the same kinds of missions in the same kind of order for forever, really. I mean, we've had some slight variations on the theme. We've had like some new box missions and that kind of thing, but otherwise, it's more or less just been the same. We know where they want to go with this. We know counter missions are a thing. We know that, all this other stuff is supposed to be coming with the mission system, mission chaining, dynamic missions based around, like probability volumes and where you are and what you've had for breakfast. But yeah, it's taking a while to get there, especially this mission thing, which I don't necessarily think I've seen on the roadmap just yet, and it's one of those things where like it needs to change even just a little bit to allow people to feel this change that Morphologis is saying is intangible enough for players, because again, lots have changed, sorry, but we've had some issues, again, with this patch in particular, with the way NPCs are interacting with you and stuff, and how slow they are to interact and that kind of thing, is letting down the game, I suppose, to new players who would want to look at the game and say, oh, that's something I want to buy. But yeah, hopefully, and again, like this is just, based on stuff we've seen on the roadmap that they've talked about. Once things like, and I don't mean to use this as, like the Jesus patch thing that, you know, people always go on about, like, oh, when OCS comes out, this will be amazing and that kind of thing. But hopefully once the server load gets reduced, because again, we have like, I guess, one server working on the entire PU and the entire, you know, like system, star system of Stanton and that kind of thing. Hopefully one server mission comes in and you have like, you know, one server just, and its sole mission is to just, you know, like work on a particular area. Once the server load issues get resolved, then other things will start falling into place. But yeah, the dynamic mission system, which I'm not sure if it's slated for or not yet, is basically what will fix this. And I can't wait for it.
Citizen 3.13.1. Look, I love Star Citizen and I'm going to keep making content on it. I am a backer through and through. And 3.14 is still shaping up to be a really, really cool patch with Crusader and maybe a few other things that are going to change the way we play the game. But ultimately, we still need more tangible stuff, and honesty, I think, is the only way through to progress. Thanks for all your guys' amazing support. I look forward to seeing what you guys say in the comment section below. I'll see you guys in the next one.
Yeah, but even so, in chat, Odie says, I'm waiting for salvage. So even when things like salvage come out, the issue is here that like it's one thing for these things to exist in the game as features, but if you're a brand new player without any direction, there still needs to be some way for you to know what to do. And in that case, you know, there does need to be this systemic mission system to actually drive you towards discovering what's new, what's changed, and what you can do now. Because, you know, like over the years, lots has changed. Like, why do I keep doing that? Lots have changed. But in order to experience it the way that, you know, like long-term backers have who follow the game as it's been developed so they know what to look for because that's different, it is difficult for new players, though. That's the issue here. Perfect end. But yeah, so that was that video from Morphologis then. That was Star Citizen Not Enough Progress. I'd like to see what he has to say about SC in general once 3.14 comes out. Not to say that that's going to be like a massive patch in terms of like content. It will be changing some things around. You know, we know that the capacitor gameplay is going to change how ships fly and all that kind of stuff, and how combat is generally going to change and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, there's gonna be enough within 3.14 to shift things around for old backers. Here's hoping that, you know, the experience will be novel enough and visually novel enough, you know, with, you know, HUD changing and stuff, that to people who kind of like are 1 foot into Star Citizen or watching it through streams and stuff, you know, there will be enough to get them in, because end of the day, the project kind of lives and dies on new backers and new money coming in. So, you know, like, fingers crossed. Anyway, that's gonna be it for the YouTube portion of this discussion, I guess. So if you've been watching on YouTube, thank you so much for doing so. If you'd like this kind of like reaction video to Morphologis's video, I won't be doing reaction videos to everybody's stuff, only to things that I guess are meaningful to myself. But if you'd like this, please feel free to like and subscribe on YouTube, comment in the comment section below, and we'll see you in the next one. Until then, guys, as always, be good.